Buluminaka and welcome to Doco Thursday. Tonight we begin a powerful new series, Melanesians in Fiji, the Forgotten People. In part 1, Arrival and Origins, we uncover the dark beginnings of the blackbirding era when Solomon Islanders and Vanuatuans were taken to work Fiji's plantations. Then, in a life of hardship, we follow their descendants' journey from the fields to building Fiji's roads and railways, stories of resilience, identity, and survival. It's history that shaped our nation, and it starts right here, right now on Doco Thursday.
In 1865, the first of many ships would bring men and women from the Solomon Islands and Vanuatu to Fiji. Many were brought not by choice, but by force. After the American Civil War in 1861 to 1865, the global cotton market underwent significant disruption. The war created a cotton supply shortage. This caused a surge in global demand for alternative sources of cotton. Fiji, with its fertile soil and tropical climate, emerged as a potential site for cotton cultivation. European planters and traders identified the opportunity to establish large-scale plantations to capitalize on the high demand and lucrative prices for cotton in global markets. To address this labor shortage, traders and planters turned to the practice of importing cheap labor from nearby Pacific Islands, a system later referred to as blackbirding. This involved recruiting or coercing islanders from Melanesia, Polynesia, and Micronesia to work on the plantations in Fiji. Some laborers were misled with false promises of wages and good working conditions, while others were forcibly taken.
According to what we have heard, story told by our great grandparents or our ancestors when they came to Fiji, that they were blackbirded. In another terms, they were uprooted, stolen from their island of origin. These including the Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, some people from PNG, Buka, and other Pacific Islands. So the first migration that came during the blackbirding, those are the ones that I think that they came before Fiji was ceded to Great Britain in 1870s. That was in 1863. I think few came earlier than that, but was not recorded. When they came, the stories that were told that they were brought to Levuka, and from there then they were distributed. Some were sold to white planters. Some were taken to Taviuni, some were taken around all over Fiji.
Kangai talma takaviuti nang kunanon rakumeva bombula nangasi. Ora babondoki maindo na wanga. Era mbatani mai kina mera babondoki mai akipalangi. Era sala kumai ndreke sa suli persona kamera lumbi sulu na kabangon mera mbatani mai kina. Aku mendreke ngona sara mai besu sa song sara ngaer ngai kamera sukali stal sa sinra sara kau sara mai ba ibiti. Ngona sa ko mai kina ibiti sanga mai ba bombula takitu.
My name is Ali Kimbia. I'm one of the descendants, fourth generation, now in Fiji of the Melanesian laborers, those who came under the blackbirding system in the 1800s and currently living in town in Sino. My grandfather, great-grandfather, came from the Solomon Islands in the province of Koyo, this district of Olombori. There was a story about my great-grandfather which they said that they were told that they were going into ships because there were guns in the ships. They were told to go inside and have a look, and once they were in the ship, it just closed and they were taken out of the Solomon Islands.
Ono tura di Solomoni. Tiko ina loka. Ia ko ngata talo ko tabago talo ta kitu no la ko bai da waka ke bai kasa e kabasu bai lau. Bono da sa solo. Ke bai lutu no ke ana waka ya kabosnya ke ortu ke sabia mulai bono ortu la kase ke dego. Ora kase ke dego ora ke sabia mulai bono era bono balau.
Ko kimi toro chu ni rala ko mena kin kau lan rona em bagi pada sau che rala ko mai ena non ra kau mai baka beso ni tukuna na la ko mai ba kau mai ba beso ena non ra sasanga kena non rina kita na wawalang ena kena sanga ime mai tarai dake na vonu kimi sa mai tigo kina go ka kimi sa mai wato ka tigo meni vonu biki daka daka ramin karawa sai ko na tibu bau na kena daka na binau ni sala viti na wavu tapi vator da kita gilele yang karena bicu ko na vonu ngo kaya ngau no ya pero kanda kila na kani ngau na sember na misini na ina kile vuni non rakau mai mera mi daka kaya na vonu sanda mai cuko kina na ngau na ngo kan
o ya una tuk au bulu don makan na tukango cek kurang mai ko ngendo taro na biao orto ndo raka salingingi orto raka salingingi tini sara gorimba ndo raka salingingi randukan bagada ngona bilu tak cukin na kay falay sangang anak kamera wira sin kami tayo na anak kami ngona ra mikin na randukan nga wira na droni via sin do randukan ki tukang wa nulay tayo ko na kasalingan rangay bibi yaki orto sangay biu na ya mertondo na kasalingan ngalay vakasalinging rongay kunik rongay bikile rongay birekin kina dona maramane talerake o lati leta ngiri na maramane talerake ngona ya rosangay bibina ka tikitu kango ceke kuramay sangay basa kang may kiner tuletolo na vitamin chole tatay kanela borenge kiseralo chole tatay ko basa kang may kiner tamango ko sambasa sa rumikin na
The account of a Melanesian elder recounting the journey of their forefathers to Fiji sheds light on the human suffering and resilience that shaped this chapter of history. These oral histories often reveal the treachery and violence endured by Pacific Islanders who were forcibly taken or deceived into indentured labor. The Melanesian forefathers struggled with cultural displacement, being separated from their families, languages, and traditions. Despite these challenges, they often found ways to form new communities, support each other, and preserve aspects of their cultural identity. Some even resisted the oppressive system through subtle acts of defiance or by running away, though the risks were immense. Today, their stories serve as a reminder of the resilience of those who endured such hardships and the importance of acknowledging and addressing historical injustices. Packed into the dark, cramped holds of ships, the laborers were stripped of dignity and humanity. The spaces were barely sufficient to lie down, let alone move freely. The air was thick with the stench of sweat, human waste, and sickness, creating an oppressive and suffocating environment. Many fell ill from diseases like dysentery and scurvy, their weakened bodies unable to cope with unsanitary conditions. Beyond the physical suffering, the psychological toll was immense. Many laborers were forcibly separated from their families and communities, leaving them isolated and traumatized. The uncertainty of their fate, combined with the inhumane conditions, created a pervasive sense of hopelessness.
Bukan do masora rata gitu na no rata rata. Rasindo kan ba binak, rasindo mo ba binak. Siang do mo ba ngora sapa kan dati kay malagi. Arba ka rata ki. Turu kuan dona bula kira misang ni tandra patri kima mia kau mai va loki lai hunta kima me hunta kima na rukuni reki ni wanga ya na kai tukuri on tukang gue kima me hunta kima na rukuni reki ni wanga me kuni reki kima me nangu sala kima mo mikina kima kinta langa ni kima sama itu koi ibiti iyo
Sort of so disheartening, and sometimes we get emotional as well when telling the stories of their sufferings and their struggles. Some stories were recorded of the experience that they went through here in Fiji, but some of the stories weren't recorded, so it was just passed down through storytelling to us that are in Fiji.
Even my father told me that some of our elders came and died. They never got married to anyone. They were singles because of their hard work. Some they were ill-treated by the colonial masters. During that time, they have to work hard. Some they were tricked. Some of the stories they were told. I leave my specs here, or my sunglass, to what's over here. You keep on walking while I go out. But they don't know what is that sunglass. Only they know that's my eye. My eye. I leave my eye. They don't know the time. The time is the sun. When the sun start to rise, that's the time they start to work. They always say we started work from sunrise to sundown. That's are the words that they used to tell their children, their grandchildren.
Warna maningas. Rata rambone katambote mai utundren sundrenandra. Indalingandra. Anondra pada ke palangi. Era takap na takap. Era sini wada ra sara posota. Takap ngalu anondra. Do tano na marana tinango do kana mosi era kimani. Kimani sini rawat tamandanga na bulan ya do minggu.
Sotali ramituika, korsa mituika, koralekia, ko non rebunbul ratuika.
Erla mai rami bimbiu yaki. Saya ni ngule tapi kina biu ni ra ngole kina so ngole mango. Ra ngole tabi uni bono lebu. Na be state le lebu to doko. Non ra papa lagi na nguna. Era le daga kina na ka ngo ka na nguna na kena tarida ke chuko. Na bonu kina daga merlenga ra na bi bono to doko sala.
kim sanga itu kim dona ra ko matanga una sini ngule ra na kaya do dore la ko lom Nera chico na non rambula na Israel satu na kalau toki ayo waktu tu mata sargana ni mai melako mai kim sanga itu toki mai toki handu mai kim sanga mai lakama tu oi railu au ngai muri ni lako mai mate bosivia o sina ni bita langa mai na koro kalau aku kira mai sang raga mai budra to so na lintu mersaga mai tu kena sanga tiki but lako chico mai
I heard stories too that were told that on their way back from Mang in Laos, they were supposed to be brought back to Suva, then transported back. On their way back, they were told to swim, so they were shot dead. Some they arrived safely in Matuku Islands because of that massacre in the boat. Some they swam to Matuku and some of the islands in the Lau group. You can see that some Solomon descendants are there, but I'm grateful that the people of Lau have included them into their Matangalis, but they still known as Solomon descendants.
These waves carried them away from their homes, across vast and unforgiving distances, to an unknown future. Every crash against the shore is a reminder of the emotional distance they endured their loved ones left behind, their languages and traditions fading into the horizon. Their faces tell a story words cannot fully capture, a story of exhaustion, of endurance, and of lives shaped by forces beyond their control. These were not just laborers, they were fathers, mothers, brothers, and daughters, forced to endure in a world that saw them as mere instruments of profit. Their journey was one of unimaginable hardship. Ripped from their homes, thrust into the darkness of ships, and subjected to the cruelty of a system that saw them as tools, not as people. But their story does not end in despair. Dedicated to the laborers who endured, your stories live on. The lives of Solomon Islanders and Vanuatuans in Fiji were marked by hardship, but also by an indomitable strength. This is the story of how they cleared the frontiers for Fiji's economy, despite facing continued discrimination and marginalization.
Rango asen malele, o tamango pita tenke. O chinango ke saya tubou. O tamango ngaseni wai. Waka nonra lako mai liora sora me chiko I nabutu lau toka. Sia saramani waka ngau nisala chiko me taka ngau nisala chiko me sarango I kaban ngasau. Sarala ko chume taka chiko me ato sar kaban ngasau. Sona kanta baya ra chiko I olosar. Chiko olosar ya rangai waka merengara mantona panun kainjia. Ya rangara chiko ke simata le rabe adoikia dana kailo maike dana kai adoikia sangat kuna kina kain Punjabi no hukum sing do bangalale ke dana do. Ya sangat indui la kona na ngasikedenga. Ko sora lomba ke su wai loko bina panu randui tukina. Iyo, yo kito tamangungo, waktu setala tamangulel, arsangge ngole me pango, sora cuma dalava, terus ame chiko sarango. Oke. Ome chiko ke tamangunga kito me ke. Kalau ko me ke, aku me sudu ke. Nambah 1945. Nunggu ambak ini bulan nambah ini chiko chikongo. Iya. Kalau nunggu chiko ke betan tamanggu sama tamang mate na Cina. Sama chiko kito bat kirna pungongo kete. Sora waka kontar me waka berna kainjia were soaya yang mera oi ramtanga ya wase sama tan tan bana mera tundekin. Tanga re chiko ikya tokiaki sin chiko nde. So chiko me osar chiko me maboi bakengo. Bebano kita ngara sin lokin nangkas ni sulumi. Sindona ban mera chiko ndekin. Wakango sama chiko kitongo. Barang ko chiko me gorin ras me alawa. Sutana ban no bebano goyo rake me dolong goy bakengo.
After the collapse of Fiji's cotton industry in the late 19th century, Sir Arthur Gordon introduced sugarcane farming to revive the economy. To meet the labor demands of this new industry, he implemented a system of indentured labor, bringing workers from British India. This shift reshaped Fiji's agriculture and contributed to the formation of its diverse multi-ethnic society.
Na rango lati le tanangire. Na re tamango e pelindubi na re tukango o kanisa tai. Re tukango kwa laka mai na koro e rua tukana pita vini. Are pita wata ke cheke kromai. Ke tonga imbasika mai cheke kromai kwa ngwane. Ro lako sara chunga mai solmoni. Ono ra mai kina ne mamingasi mai malaita. Kito sanga mai bai tiko na butu. Yerto arto to kita ki mai yerto atiko mai karavi. Kwa sanga li tawi puta meki na nito tiko boy na butu. Sanga rei vango ira, ta sanga rei na mbuka ni sakubutu na butu. Ta sanga va muria, ta sanga rei na tukango sa tiko mai na butu. Kwa ka to ebuki na butu. Oira sanga tukita ki karavi ina butu. Kwa paran tiko ki na butu solomoni. Ta sanga li tiko ki ana ne mamingasi. Dona lenga ya do mai na butu. Lera ramatu na lenga ngo. Bibiti keda sakile kina na lenga ngo. Boleh ada sarabiri tar-tala rak mai tar-tala ngas sireli dau me mai wale ana lenga ngo kesenga. na noro sa vida sa rati chiko na tokei wata na ngoni Solomon dona bulan den regi mami sotama kamba saranga kina na bulan ni mata mo vale amen kito na siya na sinungul na bara na bulan matawa na numango ya musu ngai kya me mati ngai kya yung sanga ni kla ni dota ni na tuwa matama ngwe pelindu ve sagara de chiko ko na bula bi rati sardo chiko kya bubale saranga e kamba sukina iyo tamangu e bila batanangane na role ruanga na tangane kia sangai dota ni mai na bula mera na tabalena rasangai against takana tamangu batale tamangu abilu taki chiko na ngona samani abana tamangu sasinan dona kaya da karawa vida walenga na ngoni solmo di kitu chiko kya kim sangai to kim dona la ko ay matanga una sinul la barao na kaya do menabut dona la ko lom ngara chiko na no rambulan na Israel le to na ko toki ayo wato to bata saranga ni mai mlako mai kim sangai to toki mai toki handu da mai kim sangai mai lakabato oi railu au ngai muri ni lako mai bate mosivia o sin ni bitaw lang mai na koro rala ko kire mai sang raga mai budlaka to so nalintu mersaga mai tiko kena sagai tiki bu lako chiko mai sagai bagana limunti o tiara sagai sindana ni mami fale po me kiba mitara well si fale nga mai nabutu ko si chingo
Navutu and Vunavutu, places named for the pain endured by the people who worked there. These names given by the Itauke reflect the hardships faced by Solomon Islanders and Vanuatuans, who shed their blood and tears to build these sites.
Buni nito ko nga may nito ke may kinay rasay ke balata ng bulan ni bakan duin taki. Kay Solomon ke na tauke. Sa sini bila katindo na kay Solomon me bilu taki na korona buto. Mata sa tika na mata ni tuwe tolu mata ira na duya ni mamine ira liwawati. Da tauke kwarangay komay kina na ira na duya wati na bersama iti ko na buto. Yung bersama iti ko na buto rasa rama muka sa mama rambe kenapa anda sih sama sati ke bu mersando tenan da bola bipa kalau mata ke tuluru lagi na nungu kasih do lako Solomon sengani num do korong ya kito sa taur tunga na pasota kito sila na kabaran dora ka mati sa lele ni mamito ki nga mai ke balita na mula ni bipa kan duin taki kay Solomon Habu ni kita berkata begitu sabak tu ditaki. Bersama kau me kita walikin na berat cubi nak kawan ko. Kita sino kata begitu yali na kaya me na butu bayado iki. Kime bersama orang beli sama itiko ira na makumbike mami. Au sabak dulu itiko. Beran ni yali berat tu ditaki na kawan ko iki ngo. Mera kau di goni Solomon ni mera tuko kowa me sulu mera na tiki ngela ko me tuwa kowa me tuna non rinuni me ka ko ni donga ka me me bango me sa tu me sala ko sini mera kata makado mera langase me ka ko ni ande biki ko la ngana nungu ni lengo sakir kira chira matitu o pano akula me makatunde taki mi solo lang andon ponongo me keme mi tigo ki nertu ki na kau ni Solomon me pakatunde taki me pakai bola taki me kuli pakai sona ponongo isang ni pakai bola taki ko ko lang ana nungu nui ni la mata ni tu la buki ki to mi pano akula me ki to batunde taki.
They worked until their hands bled. They used crowbars, hammers, and nothing else. It was brutal work. Many never lived to see the end of the project.
When they came, they were dispersed around Fiji. Some work in, as I've said, cotton wool farms, some work in copra plantations, and the others work for the development of roads and infrastructure, and also setting up the sugar as well, in terms of working in the sugarcane plantation. And stories that we've heard of their work in Suva, there used to be brawls, there used to be disputes amongst them with the Itoke as well while working, because the way the British handled them while working as laborers. And some of the stories we were told that they were whipped, some of them whipped to death while constructing roads within the Suva city. They also construct roads around VT11, and they work from sunrise to sunset. Some of them gave their life, some of them passed away, but you know, the struggle at that time, they couldn't say anything. Whenever they feel tired or whenever they are sick, they will whip just to continue work and continue working hard day in and day out.
Natango enimbirana, au waitiko ina loka, au samba ki bichang karua namba kingo. Ngonar sa ko mekine biter sange meba bombulo takitu. Era taitu nangon sala ngorisua. Nakaindonya na amaramana tinango.
Vai bacho tukaku, au se matanga ni reza tukaku. Dongara tukaku dodio eu welilai da toran surumodi abiliki. Kwa ke kaule stalo ko ilau. Isa bola ka beki bisa tuki tadi bai bisa watala ibai bai welilai beki bisa tuki bai wadalok. Kai bai Suzuki na ortu ke na tabaku. Oe lepa na tagade. Ortu le tulu na elewa. Ortu habate ke ortu. Tu ke na tabaku. Ai dora siga ko tu se tabaku talo takamata na buto la obelo. Kako to tukabu. Sega sarga di beba bulida bekito e dona posa pasolo boli. Ko e kaga tukuro ko ya. Lo sa tugo na sega tali radio la ko tali solboli. Ono aga ko tu sana chiko kira.
Well, my name is Pateresio Nun. I'm third generation Melanesian. Third generation Melanesian. My great grandfathers came from the district of Are Are. Now we call ourselves as the Maratha people. In the west of Harare named Waisisi. Some of our ancestors, after they were contracted, after the abolition of the blackbirding, they were contracted to the sugarcane industry. That was the CSR, Colonial Sugar Refinery. And also they were contracted to the Votukola gold mine. They were gold mine. Some of the old settlements there were already there. At Nasomo, I've already seen their places. I visited at Nasomo in Votukola. Those are the old settlements of the Solomoni people. Some they lived at close to the slime dams at Votukola. I've visited all those places, which were told that they used to live in that place when they used to work in Votukola. Yeah. They built roads. One of the stories told by one of my auntie here that their father is a first descendant. Sometimes when they build roads, they go up like this to Dolesuva. They were building roads, and the young boys from Dolesuva always see them on the building roads. Then they see all the tattoos and all this. And they always say, "Ooh, kay Solomon, kay Solomon." And that time they looked up like this, and those boys used to run away. But another thing with our ancestors, because they came with, because they have the same culture as Fijians. When they reach a village, the Fijian people were very welcoming. That's what they've told us. Once they reach a village, they have a big, they have their lunch. Follow the lunch is the grog session. Same time they were given the string band because our forefathers were very good in singing.
And that brings us to the end of part 1 of Melanesians in Fiji, the forgotten people. Powerful, painful, and necessary. These are stories that deserve to be heard and remembered. But the journey doesn't end here. Next week on Doco Thursday, we dive into landlessness and marginalization, exploring the ongoing struggle of Melanesian communities who were never granted land and how this impacts their place in Fijian society today. And coming soon, episode 4, Identity and Discrimination, where we hear from young descendants navigating the challenges of belonging in a society that often overlooks them. These are stories of truth, survival, and strength. Don't miss it next week, right here on Doco Thursday.